Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for September 24, 2024, the ECCP Update Edition. And we begin with that story, which from actually my blog. Yes, I am breaking the news today that Deputy Attorney General Lisa Argentiera made remarks to the 23rd Annual SCCE Compliance and Ethics Institute. She rolled out the new 2024 update to the Department's Evaluation of Corporate Compliance Programs. There is a new section on AI. There's a beefed up section on whistleblowers and on data access for compliance professionals. I've linked to my blog post on it, which links to the underlying speech and the updated ECCP. So check both of those out. Next up, a bankruptcy judge in Houston reports that, has sanctioned the law firm of Jackson Walker and found that it breached its ethical duties for not disclosing the relationship between a former bankruptcy judge, David Jones, and one of its partners. The bankruptcy court referred the entire law firm for disciplinary proceedings to the chief judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas. Al Jazeera reports that Singapore is gearing up for the biggest corruption trial in decades. Former Transportation Minister S. Iswaran is accused of accepting gifts, including F1 tickets and a Brompton bike from 2 tycoons. As many of our listeners will know, Singapore always ranks very highly on the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, and this has been a huge black eye for Singapore. He is going on trial for 35 charges of obtaining valuables as a public servant, corruption, and obstructing the course of justice. And listeners will recall that Amazon ordered all employees to return to work. Well, it turns out the UK government says, hold on. The UK government links flexibility to better performance and a more productive, loyal workforce, which, of course, is what the workforce has been saying since the entire pandemic and work from home, return to work, and now flexible work hours. It's going to be interesting to see if Amazon can enforce this mandate in the United Kingdom, as the UK government believes that Amazon is wrong and making people trudge to the office every day is not as good as flexibility. Imagine that. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.